What's going on, guys? Back at again with the NHL playoff predictions. Haven't done this in such a long time. My setup isn't the best today. I'm just going to be screen recording on my phone. Playoffs are just around the corner. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch really much this season at all. So I only watched like a few games a week, like not even a game always every week. It was bad. It just wasn't that good this season. But I'm hoping for next season to get my setup a bit nicer, and maybe I'll check out the season a bit more. So I'm going to kind of mostly be going off of vibes and recent watchings. I've been watching a bit more this week. Tough for Arizona. See you guys in Utah for that. That's the latest news I've been checking up on, honestly. But all the playoff matches are set, so let's get recording because tomorrow is playoffs. So we'll start in the Western Conference. Dallas and Vegas. Dallas is a great team. A lot of young talent. A lot of good, great points scored too. I'm going to take Vegas because upsets, you got to have some upset. And honestly, if you look at the rest of my playoff bracket, there isn't going to be that many upsets. So I'm going to take Vegas. And let's say Vegas in 6 or 7 games. We'll do the games in a bit after. So next, sorry about that. Next, we got Winnipeg and Colorado. Now, Colorado's a great team. Don't get me wrong. They are such a great and talented team. But hey, a few weeks, was it last week or something, Winnipeg beat them 7-0. I mean, I actually really do like Winnipeg this season. And I think Winnipeg's one of my favorites, not necessarily to win the cup, but certainly to go to the finals, conference finals at least. I actually do like Winnipeg, even if they were to play Dallas in the second round. I really do want to see Winnipeg go, and I don't know if I'm fantasizing them, but maybe it's some bias, but I do like Winnipeg this season, and I'm going to take Winnipeg. Again, like I said, a lot of these picks are just so random, and they're not really they're going out. So if you comment in the comments, you feel free to completely disagree with me. Again, I did not watch enough hockey this season. That I did was mostly just sitting around the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I really didn't watch as much as I usually do, and so I'm very much out there for my predictions. Probably, right? You never know. It's NHL is the NHL. A lot of crazy things can happen. So Vancouver and Nashville. I think this is an easy pick. Nashville, not good in the playoffs. No offense to them. I mean, I can't say that I'm a Leafs fan, but Nashville, not so great, at least recently. And Vancouver's been on fire. Again, Vancouver's also actually one of my favorites to. I mean, I would say they win the cup, but they're a Canadian team, so I'm going to take Vancouver over them, and I think this is going to be 5 games at the max, maybe 6. I don't know. It could go longer, but Vancouver's certainly going to win this matchup. Edmonton and LA. For the 3rd year in a row, I believe so, right? 3 years in a row, it's Edmonton and LA. First year went to LA, second year to Edmonton. I'm going to take Edmonton. Edmonton's a great team. LA too, but Edmonton also, who doesn't want to see a Vancouver-Edmonton second round? That would be just amazing. So we're taking Edmonton. So now we got the games to work on. So now we're going to do it with the games. So this is the part where you really got to lock in for Vegas and Dallas. You know what? We'll say 7 games for that. I mean, if it's going to be an upset, usually I actually see Dallas coming off strong, winning the first, maybe getting a 2-0 lead in the series, maybe getting a 3-1 lead in the series, maybe both. But then Vegas being able to switch it around, and in game 7, anything can happen. So maybe Vegas is just able to turn up the tanks. I do think Dallas should win this series, could win this series. But again, Vegas won the cup last year. They're hungry. It's crazy to see Vegas go from not in the playoffs to Stanley Cup back to being a wildcard team. They've been so jumpy, but they're still such a great team historically. And if they just came off that cup win, they're probably going to want it back. So Vegas in 7 for me. Winnipeg and Colorado, going to be a great series. I probably won't watch too many games just because it's in the West and there's always hours behind me. But I do want to watch a few of these games. I actually do like Winnipeg as a team, but I'm going to say 7 games. That would be a great series. Like I said, Vancouver and Nashville, in my opinion, is a 4-game series. You got to have at least 1 or 2 4 games, and this is probably going to be one of them. And for Edmonton, I'll say game 6, just because I don't really have too many game 6s predicted. So we'll say select that. Sorry about that. And now it's time to move on to the East. So now we're going to look at the Eastern Conference. I did move my camera just so we can look at the Eastern Conference a bit better in detail. We got a lot of great matchups. Not necessarily what I want as a Leafs fan, but we do got a lot of great matchups, a lot of good rivalries. We got the Battle of Florida, Boston, Toronto, Rangers, Capitals, and Islanders, and Carolina. The Metro's not so much, but the Atlantic certainly does have some good rivalries to go off of. Battle of Florida. So the 3 battles of Florida all went Tampa's way. Was that only 2 so far? either way, they've all always gone Tampa's way, and I do really like Tampa, although Tampa's a wild card team with only 98 points, and Florida's on fire. Florida's been on fire. And Florida has actually done well in the playoffs last season, all the way to the finals. It's crazy because before that, it was their first time winning the first round in like 20 years. And the next year, or maybe 30, it was a long time. And then the next year, they're all the way like to the Stanley Cup Finals, losing to Vegas. So Panthers certainly on a run. They want to go deep. And Tampa Bay is not as strong as they were. And having Vasilevsky injured for much of the season, I believe he's still going to probably play this playoffs, but he may not have as much practice or readiness as the Panthers goaltending, which is just absolutely stacked. Panthers actually have players in like the top 3, it seems, of every single statistic you can look at. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's pretty true, honestly. The Florida Panthers are a really good team. And I was going to pick Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay could certainly upset them, but I'm going to take Florida. It'll be a long-fought series, hard, a lot of hits, a lot of goals, maybe not a lot of goals. It really depends how Florida's offense does, but yeah, probably a lot of goals. It'll be a lot of fun. Boston and Toronto, not the series I wanted, but hey, everyone last season was saying we want Florida. Toronto actually winning a round finally, losing to Florida in 5 games. Not what I wanted to see. So maybe Boston's great. I don't know. Like when the Leafs were playing Florida the other night, the Ford fans saying we want Florida because mocking the Leafs, right? I'm going to take Boston 7 games, of course. If it's a Leafs in Boston, although Boston lost a game 7 last year to Florida Panthers, and the Florida Panthers were a wild card team, and Boston was leading that game 7 and blew it. So, who knows? Again, I'm making a lot of these predictions based on last season. I just didn't watch enough this season to really know much about these teams. And that I did was mostly just centered around the Leafs and like only like once a week on Hockey Night. I wasn't even like taking advantage of just like I should have watched more games this season throughout the week. I just didn't. Hopefully next season will. But I'm going to take Boston and Florida. And for the Metro, we got Rangers and Washington, Carolina, and the Islanders. I'm going to take Rangers. Rangers are a great team. I keep saying that. Everyone's a great team, right? Everyone's a great team. Carolina and the Islanders. I'm going to take Carolina. Islanders are notorious for being upset teams. How awesome would it be an Islanders-Rangers matchup in the second round? How awesome would it be Carolina and Rangers in the second round, right? Great teams. So Florida and Tampa Bay. Let's get the obvious one first. Boston, Toronto, that's a 7-game series. Rangers and Washington. I haven't picked a 5-game series, so we'll say that's 5 games. Carolina, we'll say is 6. Florida, Tampa Bay. We'll say it's another 7. It will be a hard-fought series. So now we get to the second round, right? Vegas and Winnipeg. Again, Vegas or Dallas. Whoever comes out of the series. I'm pretty confident the Jets win for some reason. But Vegas, just watch for that to blow out. Colorado ends up winning the cup or something. Vegas and Winnipeg. I'm going to take Winnipeg. Like I said at the start of the video, Winnipeg is one of my favorites. Not to win the cup because they're a Canadian team. When will a Canadian team win the cup, right? We'll say that takes them 6 games, okay? And Vancouver, Edmonton. I'm taking Vancouver. I don't think Edmonton has enough powerhouse to pull through. Well, they do, but Vancouver's been really hot this season, which is crazy. They weren't even in the playoffs last year, like for the past, I don't know, however many years, but Vancouver's back now, right? And if we look into the East, Florida or Boston. Now, I'm not confident in either of these teams even passing the first round. Florida could get upset by Tampa Bay. Toronto, after that playoff win last season, might be like, hey, it's time to put on the tanks. Maybe Austin Matthews, sad he didn't get 70 goals, so he's like, got to just pound my way through the playoffs. That'll make me happy. I don't know, right? But I'm going to say Boston, though. I think Boston would beat Florida. Maybe get some revenge from last year. I don't know. Again, that's all my predictions are coming from last year because I just didn't watch enough of this season. But Rangers, Carolina, Rangers. I think the Rangers will probably be this champion of the Metro regardless. The Rangers are just a really good team, and we'll say they beat them. I could say I don't think it wouldn't be a sweep, right? You know what? For the heck of it, we'll just say 4 games because I don't have enough 4-game series in this. And Boston, we'll say that took them another 7 games. So Boston and Rangers. I kind of feel Boston, but because I'm not confident in Boston even passing the first round, I'm pretty sure because it's Toronto, but I'm not confident. Whereas the Rangers, it's I'm pretty confident they won't lose to Washington. Pretty confident. You never know what they're able to do. I am going to take Rangers just because I think they're a more better prediction to win the cup. Even if like as the more you go down the bracket, the less probability that you're right is right. But better to pick a favorite than a non-favorite, right? So we'll take the Rangers. And in the West, let's move my camera for this part. We'll say that take them 6 games. Boston puts up a bit of fight. I'll take Vancouver in 5. Okay. And I do actually think Vancouver or the Jets will be the one to make it out the West. I'm confident in these Canadian teams, but we obviously know that Canadian teams can't win the Stanley Cup, so it's going to be the Rangers, right? I believe there's the tiebreaker. Okay, so now it's time for the hardest prediction, the tiebreaker question. How many total goals will be scored in the Stanley Cup final? It is such a crazy thing to predict. It's so hard because there's like it's like an infinity, right? I mean, there's no way they're going to score like 1,000 goals, but how do you even predict this? I'm going to say it's a hard-fought series. It usually is in the finals. Maybe last season, I think it was game 5, but usually it's a hard-fought series, 6 or 7 games. I'm going to say around like 7 games. The Rangers win, and assuming they're both offensive teams, obviously the Rangers are pretty sure Vancouver is. I don't really know. I don't really watch too much of the Western Conference. I know just because of the time zones thing, it really sucks because there's a lot of teams I don't want to watch. But assuming they're both offensive, that's going to be like a 4-2, 6-4. We're going to say that's about 8 goals a game. 8 times 7 is like 56. We'll say 58 goals. 59. We'll say 59 goals. That's probably so high and probably not anywhere accurate. But 59 goals. What are you going to say, right? What are you going to say? I'd love 59 goals thing. Great. Whatever. 2-2 submit the bracket. Man, that was so wrong. I don't know why I said 59. So this is the bracket. Looking at it from the end, I was able to submit it. Just had to click, the red after I had put the numbers in. I stuck with 59 points. So let's see, just overview what's happening. So Dallas loses to Vegas in 7 games. I do believe Dallas has some like upside in the first few games of the series, and it kind of blowing it. Winnipeg and Colorado, pretty even series. Could go either way, but I'm very confident in Winnipeg. I like Winnipeg this season, and I would even consider them going to the finals. Vancouver sweeps Nashville. There's got to be a sweep. This is the type of series to get a sweep. Nashville just not good historically in the playoffs. Vancouver is on a roll, and I do like Vancouver. You can see them all the way to the finals in my bracket. Edmonton and LA, 3rd year in a row. Again, like I said, 6 games. I'm taking Edmonton, just like their talent a bit more. Also, who doesn't want to see a Vancouver-Edmonton series? I would go crazy. So I'm assuming that happens. Take Vancouver. I don't remember what games I said. I might end up changing this like 7 games. Maybe 6. It could be a short series. I think I said 5 actually. I don't know. Go back in my old video if you want. Go back earlier in the video if you want to check what I said. Doesn't really matter with game numbers because they can't grade you on that for this. But Vancouver, Jets taking Vegas, so you get the Winnipeg versus Vancouver. Crazy series if that ever happened to go to the finals. Guarantee Canadian team, right? If that's how it goes. I'm gonna move my camera over here so we can look at the West. And in the West, oh my gosh, so we can look in the East, right? Battle of Florida, taking Florida in 7. I wanted to take Tampa Bay. Ended up like earlier today, just kind of switching what I was thinking. So taking Florida, Boston, Toronto, 7 games. Also, Boston winning. Hopefully not, but it's Boston. What are you going to say, right? In the Metro, Rangers over Capitals. Pretty confident in that too. That's another series that could be a sweep, but I am going to give Ovi and the boys 1 game for that. Kind of barely slipped in the playoffs. Like they're tied with Detroit, actually. Kind of sucks. It was such a tragic thing for Detroit to just barely miss the playoffs, right? Especially because I won that last game against Montreal, but Carolina and Islanders, again, could go either way. Islanders are notorious for upsetting. They could find themselves all the way to the finals. They're the type of team to do it, but I'm going to take Carolina. Again, I don't have actually many upsets in my playoff bracket, which is usually a bad thing because there's always upsets in the NHL, but easier to predict teams, or better to predict teams that are good, right? Because more likely to advance further on your bracket, therefore giving you more points. Sometimes you have to consider that when doing these playoff brackets. So Carolina, the Rangers, taking the Rangers. I do think the Rangers will come out the Metro regardless of who else they have to play. And Boston over Florida. Do like Boston, pretty confident in Boston. I think the Florida fantasy of passing them by like 1 point is over. Boston will reign supreme, getting revenge on them from last season. Boston loses to the Rangers. I'm not like as confident in that, but I do think the Rangers are more likely to get into the finals than Boston. Boston could lose to Florida, Tampa, or Toronto on their way down. So there's a bit more, I think, ability for the Rangers to get out the Metro and eventually, even so, get to the finals. That's why I'm taking them. And Winnipeg and Vancouver, short series. I think I said that was like 5 games. Short series, Vancouver and Rangers. And because they're a Canadian team, got to stick with the Rangers winning the Cup. And I said for that, 59 goals, which is kind of just random, but what are you going to say, right? So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, probably super inaccurate. I remember one season actually pretty dead on. That was this 2021 season where there was all division-based, North, West, East, and Central. I love that format. They should go back to it, but there's not a Canadian team, so it wouldn't work. But I was actually pretty good on. You can check my old video from that time, but recently my predictions have been off, and this year I expect the same just because I didn't watch enough hockey games. So thanks for watching again. See you guys next one. I know I haven't been posting much videos. You can watch some other stuff. I don't just do hockey content. And see you guys. Peace out. See you in the next one.